reasons why men of any age should date women over 50. So yeah, that got my attention. You know, what is this going to be? Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I want to welcome back Junie Moon, the love coach and relationship expert, and the host of the Midlife Love Out Loud podcast. Say that 3 times. Junie, thank you so much for being here again.
It's my pleasure.
Well, as the title implies, Junie, of course, helps women in midlife and beyond finding love after 50 and everything that comes along with that. And here's an article, Junie, a conversation I wanted to have with you. I thought of you right away. What you think about this? You know, as I usually do a lot of research, what's written out there and what our viewers might tune into or take advice from. And here's an article that said, reasons why men of any age should date women over 50. So yeah, that got my attention. You know, what is this going to be?
Especially when we think it's the complete opposite and what we're taught is going on out there. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's like, what is this going to be about? So I know I forwarded the article to you. What did you, just before we get started, did you feel like it was empowering?
It had some interesting things in it that I can say, oh yeah, that makes sense. But most of it was like, what? Yeah, let's dive in.
Just so our audience really understands what we're talking about here. Let's go through some of the specifics, the specific highlights, points that she makes here. Why men of any age should date women over 50. And one is that she knows what she wants.
Some women do. Some women do. But I have to say that most women, after the kids go off to college or, they're postmenopausal and post-divorce, it's actually a big question mark. And they really are starting over. And a lot of times they really don't know their North Star. So yeah, that's possible. They have good sense of what they want, but typically they really are in discovery mode and really asking themselves some deeper questions of what really matters most to them now, because they're not at the same stage they were when they were in their 20s.
She is sexy as hell. Women over 50 are sexy as hell.
I love that. Dang, we are. Do we believe it? Are we taught that? No. Yeah. Again, this article is presenting something of like a strong opinion as if we're supposed to go for the ride with this. Yes, women are extremely sexy and beautiful at this age. And women's bodies have changed and they're not feeling it as much. They're working harder than ever to get the extra pounds off because of menopause. The society is telling us that we're not as sexy as hell. So I love that she says that, but I don't think that that's what most people believe.
And what she says here is how she backs this up. And I have no problem with women over 50 being sexy and feeling sexy. A lot of us absolutely do. That's not the point here. The reason that she believes that's true, she says here, look at Halle Berry, Elle Macpherson, Cindy Crawford. That's who we're supposed to look like. I mean, I think it's just unconscionable, that particular statement in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly. Again, that brings us into we're supposed to look like supermodels to be sexy as hell. Right. But I will say women over 50 are sexy as hell when they're authentic, when they really know who they are, when they're expressing their truth, when they can really drop in and just be themselves and be confident. That's sexy as hell.
Right. I agree. And then here's another one. She's comfortable in her own skin. That's good. And still looks stunning in a bikini. Now we have to wear bikinis.
Well, let's hope we can be comfortable in our skin. But again, that's like such a huge journey for women in this culture. And the bikini thing, again, it'd be great to be comfortable in a bikini and feel really hot in a bikini. But I don't know that many women that are going to feel really hot in a bikini because, again, we've been told that we shouldn't be in a bikini unless we have nothing on our bodies in the realm of fat. So tricky unless you're Elle Macpherson.
Well, I just don't get why even to make such a point.
I don't get it.
I really don't. I'm not saying you can't look at, there's women that can, but this isn't a general statement that applies to everybody.
Yeah, I think this person really is wired to live up to those standards, and she's really working hard to be like that, and maybe believes all of this for herself, but I think she's missing the heartbeat of most women at this age.
Yeah, a couple more points she makes here. She doesn't need you. That's one of the best, ways or best reasons to date. She doesn't need you. And everybody I've talked with, says, and men, leave us your comments. But one of the number one things that a man needs to connect is to feel needy, not feel needy, to want
feel needed.
Yeah, right. Feel needed. Thank you.
Yeah. And so many of the really strong, successful women that I work with that say, I don't need anybody.
Right.
But I want someone. I'm like, okay, great. Let's start with you want a partner. And then I share, we need to get you to a place where you can open and allow them in. Because if a man doesn't feel like there's a place for them that they can give to you and support you in some way, they're not going to feel that connection that men truly want to feel.
Right.
I would love to have a conversation with this woman. My guess is she does not express her needs. My guess is she is a very strong, independent woman, which is where a lot of women that come to me to work, they're very successful, and I don't need a man. My guess is she's put vulnerability into shadow and doesn't want to look needy because that will have her look weak. Dang, we have needs. We have every right to have needs, and men need to know they have a place in our life to support us. I think she's really coming out of an unhealed place.
Here's another. She is happier than ever. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that maybe. But again, there's so many people are hopeless at this point. It's just putting out expectations here again, where you should be. It's just so unnecessary.
I got to be honest. She sounds so much like some of the people that come to me saying they want a partner, but I have a great life. I don't need anything. I'm good without a guy. They've built a life without a man. It's just, they've created an experience with relationship where they don't need anything. And so, yes, they're having this great life. They're having so much fun. And there are going to be a lot of men truly that are going to be like, this is awesome. She's going to do her own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. But if they really want deep intimacy and connection and partnership, that's not going to happen. Not in the way of the heart, in my opinion.
Right. Another point here. She turns the bedroom into an adventure.
Are you sure a guy didn't write this? This sounds like a guy's fantasy right now. She doesn't need me. I have this fantasy. She's hot in a bikini. I don't know. I'm curious who wrote this. Anyway, may we have adventures in the bedroom, but again, being able to open and be vulnerable, that takes some time and connection and safety. And if you put all of your vulnerability into a box, then sure, you can go into that bedroom and have a blast and swing from the chandeliers. But again, are you able to have that deep connection, that true intimacy that you desire? My guess is not.
I mean, if a man were actually to believe this, which, I get it, men, you don't.
Yeah,
but if they were, oh my God, here's the reason I'm going to date this. Okay, I'm in the bedroom, get out the bucking horse. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And again, that could be fun. That could be wonderful. But what do you want? So men, if you're wanting a woman in her 50s and beyond with adventure in the bedroom, you could have that. It's just, if you really want the deep relationship and intimacy, you got to start there. You got to start with safety and love and connection and communication. Then you could have a lot of fun.
Here's another thing that the article implies is that women this age, over 50, they don't settle.
It's a great concept. And yes, there are a lot of women that have worked a lot on what they want. And I'm constantly telling people, do not settle. Do not listen to all the people that say, oh, you're being too picky. I say, keep your standards high. However, most people are not there. Most people are not clear about what they want and do settle and then come to me going, oh my God, I was with them for 3 years, 5 years. What was I thinking? I let so much go. And I don't even like that word settling. See, to me, settling means you're letting go of something that's important to you.
Right, right.
And there are things that you can kind of go, you know what? I can shift that. That's not as important to me, that gray area. Right. So I always say, don't settle. Shift if you want. If it's something that, if there's someone in front of you, you're like, you know what? I can work with that.
Yeah. Well, and the whole idea of settling, that's on a scale too, or, I mean, is it settling or is it just being realistic or is it absolutely, that's a whole other conversation also. But to imply or to state as a fact that all of us are, because we're older, we're so wise, we know what we want, we don't settle, that's harmful, I think,
yeah.
again.
No, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's so black and white too. I mean, that whole article was so black and white. Like, this is how it is,
right?
Or something's wrong with you.
Right? Yes. Here's one more that I want to point out. She is way over her exes. Why would anybody make that statement?
I don't know. I really don't know. Because again, we're talking about the unconscious realm. We're talking about the things that we've experienced that were painful. I totally disagree with that.
I mean, right. in my case, totally. And when I started dating, I was totally over my ex. This would have applied to me. But again, that's far and few in between. That's usually a huge scar for both men and women. And to imply that all of a sudden at 50, it's ridiculous. And her backup point here is that, she's ready to move forward with her life, no more focusing on baggage or negativity.
Again, if she ever hears this, this is someone, in my opinion, that has swept her whole past under the rug and has not dealt with her humanity. I'm just going to be just that bold and say this is someone who has so much in shadow, and she's holding herself up to high standards and works her ass off to be misadventurous in bed and perfect in the bikini and not ask for anything and think she's having a relationship. Well, she might be having a relationship, but at what level? Well,
and to your question earlier, I'm not going to link to the article because I wanted to have a very candid conversation about this. So I don't want to trash her. This isn't about trashing anybody. But this topic came up relatively quickly in search. And that's what I usually cover is stuff, what would somebody put in, and dating women over 50? Okay. I mean, it was really high on the SEO stuff. So people are reading this. And this kind of information is harmful. It's harmful for both men and especially women. It's just a whole other level of having to live up to something.
And I just think so much of it is fantasy. It's just not realistic. You're not talking about real human beings here. You're just not.
And you know what really bothered me about the article was that this is a whole new pressure that's put on women if we're supposed to think this way. Now we should be evolved after 50. We should be like this. And the examples she gives of women who are, we're all celebrities. I mean, this is not real. And while I maybe applaud her for wanting to do something inspirational, motivational, I think this is just the opposite. And I think men are going to laugh at that. Women are going to laugh at that. And it's just,
I mean, I think anytime we're being should on, there should be alarms going off. Right. Certainly when it comes to, we don't need anything. We don't need a man. I think it leads us, in general, women reading the article, to think something like a standard, like we have to live up to a standard, like we have to be over our exes and be uber confident or something like that. And I think anything that has us thinking we need to be anything other than how we are is dangerous. It puts us in our head. It has us feeling less than, and that's never a good thing. At this point, we don't need things like this to hit us over the head and say, you should be like this, or something is wrong with you.
Like you said, there are women that they feel like this woman is described, but they're far and few in between. And just the way she describes this, that why men should, this is almost like you're marketing women over 50, and it's false advertising.
Okay, there are some women that again have done a lot of work on themselves. That's my jam. All the, for myself and all of my clients, doing the inner work to feel confident, to feel strong, and to feel amazing in their bodies, no matter what size or shape they are. And that's why they come to me, because that's typically not what they're feeling when they're over 50 and beyond. And women in our culture that have been told the complete opposite around what their body should or shouldn't look like, and that they're over the hill. So it's not exactly accurate.
And with respect to the women who believe that they are there, God, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's one, I don't want to say that nobody feels like this, but it's a minority, and to imply that you should be in that group, as we've now said ad nauseum, it's harmful. So anyway, enough about this. I'm really looking forward to the comments on this from both men and women. How do you feel about that? I mean, again, when I picked it up, I had a reaction. I'm wondering how you might feel. So, Junie, thank you for your time. I always love having these conversations with you. If you need some help getting to this optimal place that we all should be, give Junie a call. All of her information is below in the show notes. She's a fabulous coach, and do tune into her podcast, Midlife Love Out Loud. It covers so many of the topics that we cover here on this show, and we'll help you get to where you might want or need to be. So again, Junie, thank you so much, and I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.